Hi, friends. A very good evening to all of you and a warm welcome on Madhvi's Luxury Code Dot and Positive Support Talk Show Part 2. Here, today we meet media. Luxury meets media. And in an interactive session with prominent media personalities, we would want to know from them what the nation wants to know. It would be very nice if it can be an interactive session where if you have any queries and questions, you can ask the distinguished panelists today here. And I'm glad to tell you that I've been a part of most of the press and media coverages, hugely by most of them, and also my clients. And it's a real honor to have them here on board with us today. So let me welcome the distinguished panelists on board for Luxury Meets Media today with us. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Madhvi. Good to see you.
Good evening. Good to see you, everybody. So I would start with the introductions of each guest, short introduction. So first of all, I would like to introduce Sandeep Marwa ji. Sandeep Marwa is the founder of Noida Film City and Marwa Studios, Chancellor of AFT University and National Chairman of Media and Entertainment Committee, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, President of International Chamber of Media and Entertainment Industry. So a warm welcome to you, Sandeep ji, with us here.
Thank you.
Sharad is the founder and chairperson, KCC Group media panelist with over 70 TV news and radio channels. Sanjeev ji has not been able to join us today.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce Vinita Bhatia, who's here with us. Vinita Bhatia is a senior business leader in the media, entertainment, and sports industry with over 2 decades of experience with organizations like Times of India, Star TV, Z, and more. Also a Journalist of the Year awardee from UP Government MSME. And Ankit will be joining later. So we also have Vinita Jerath. So we have 2 Vinitas here today. Vinita Bhatia I just introduced. And we have Vinita Jerath with us. Vinita Jerath Grover is a co-founder and editor of Suburb Gurgaon's very own lifestyle and infotainment magazine for over 11 years now. She's passionate about real-life stories that inspire people. As an influencer, Reiki channel, and certified NLP practitioner from the US, Vinita draws strength from coaching individuals and handholds them to find their space in personal and professional life. So, warm welcome to you, Vinita. And both the Vinitas here, I can see Vinita Jerath and Vinita Bhatia. So now I would like to introduce Poonam K. Malhotra. She is the editor-in-chief, Conscious Karma magazine, focusing on sustainability. The magazine was launched to spread hope and cheer amid the pandemic-stricken world through the positive news coverage. So there's a lot of positive thing happening, and the magazine is also about positivity. Poonam, I can see that. So let's start with the session. And I would like to go to Sandeep Marwa ji. And Sandeep ji, I would like to, first of all, I would like you to tell in brief about media and entertainment before we jump to any other questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Madhvi, for inviting me today for this beautiful webinar. I mean, wherever there is a word called media and entertainment, I'm always there because that's my love, my passion, my business. And let me give you a brief idea about media and entertainment industry. We are the 6th biggest industry in the country. Now, I must say that at the closing of 2019, we have touched something like 2,95,000 crore business. And we were planning for a much higher turnover in the next coming years, but unfortunately, because of pandemic, everything is changed. Can't help it. And when I say media and entertainment industry, that means I'm talking about print, radio, television, cinema, new media, events, music, and so on. Roughly 10 million people, they're working in this industry, and this industry is further supporting another 10 million people who are part and parcel of hospitality, tourism, electronics, engineering, food and catering, and so on, other industries. The best part is that Indian media and entertainment industry is huge. We have something like now, after shedding out all the unpopular and all broken papers, we have something like 30,000 newspapers in this country, around about 4,000 magazines, 950 channels, probably the largest news channels in the country, around about 450 news channels in 28 different languages. And then we have 325 radio stations in this country. And if I say mobile phones, which is also a very important part of media now, we have something like 120 crore mobiles, and out of which around about 50% mobiles, that means 60 crore mobiles are smartphones. That means they have internet connection, and you can see cinema, you can see film, you can click pictures, and so on. So this is a very small brief about our Indian media and entertainment industry. I think this pandemic has brought a lot of changes into this industry. If given a time, probably we can discuss that later. Thank you.
Great, wonderful, and of course we all know how much good work is being done at the Marva Studios. And yes, everything is available at an app now, at a click only. So I would like to come to a question to Sharad on this: that with the growing popularity of internet, will the traditional media channels like newspapers or news channels will continue to lose significance? Because on internet you get news instantly, and on channels it comes later, and a bit later in newspapers. So what do you have to say about that, Sharad?
Well, thank you so much, Madhavi, first of all, and very warm greetings to all my fellow panelists. I have Dr. Marva, both the Vinitas and Poonam. Well, thank you so much for having me here. And indeed, we're going through a very, very tough time. And to all your audience who's listening to us right now, my best wishes that I hope they are all safe and they stay safe. Well, I think internet, yes, it has been a transformation without a doubt. I mean, I divide the total viewership into two categories. There are the people who are like 40 and above, and there are the people who are like 40 or even 35 and below. So the new generation, I call them a generation Y or whatever you want to call them. Well, they are gradually moving away from newspapers, television, and so, because everything is out here on your mobile. It's just it is pushed onto your mobile, so you don't have to switch on your television, pick up a channel, select a channel, whether it's a good channel or a bad channel, or your favorite channel or non-favorite. All they need is information on the mobile, which is instant, which is quick. Yes, it is transforming. In fact, the two of the leading newspapers in this country, they are in constant thought process to see what should be done next to make sure they are all transforming to a digital format. So I think internet is the future, undoubtedly the future. And the electronic media and the print media, the traditional media, and Dr. Marva very nicely elucidated the the statistics as to what is the volume. But in a country like India, Madhavi, in a country as big as 138 crore people, where the penetration of internet in the cities, in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, now in certain villages also, is good. But as Dr. Marva rightly said, that there are about 60 crore people who use smartphones. So there are still another 68 crore people who do not use smartphones, if I put it the other way around. So these are the people who still bank on. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is to transform the whole audience from print and electronic to internet, completely internet. I think will take a few more years for India. So India, I mean, we were doing a comparative in the over the last few months, a comparison of India versus Europe or America, where television is growing extinct, in fact, for the news purposes. But I think for India, a country as hybrid as India, it will take a few more years for a complete transformation to internet. So there is still something to look forward to as far as television and the newspapers go.
Yeah, very, very well said, Sharad, because you're absolutely right. The numbers are huge, whether the people who are using the apps or even the ones who are not using it. So definitely it is going to be the thing in future, but it's going to take time for the ones who are not still on the app. Absolutely well said. And I would like to ask Vinita now that you spoke of optimism, Vinita Bhatia. And so how can a media platform be optimistic, especially in today's times? If you can throw light on this. And there are a lot of audience. Ginny is saying it's good to see such a nice network of people. And Jasleen is saying good to see you all. So, yeah, Vinita.
Thank you, Madhavi.
Bhatia.
First of all,
Can't hear you.
Thank you.
It's not audible.
I think, Vinita, your network is a bit
Audible?
low. So,
Just give me a
There's a
thumbs
bit
up
of issue.
if it's audible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Ranveer is echoing.
it's,
Can you be a little louder, Anita? Because we're not able to hear you. I think I can't see her, so there's a network issue with her probably. So I will come to Vinita Jairath. The question to you is that we would like to know about the blurring line between the traditional media and the current media, which includes social media. If you can brief a bit about that, Vinita Jairath.
Hi, Madhavi, and hello to all the listeners, and greetings to all the panelists. Madhavi, you asked a very, very relevant question and something which is very close to my heart because yes, it is true. Like Sandeep was also mentioning that the importance of internet has absolutely gone to the next level now. Despite there are another more than a half a crore of the population which is yet to come to the smartphones, but the fact is that more than 60 crore if we're looking at or many more, they are the people who are very, very keen to know what is happening in the newspapers, and there is a younger generation which is actually so hooked to social media. When I say social media, I also mean all the other channels, including the YouTube channels, where the news is what people are believing it to be. Unfortunately, going by what the way the news is being broadcasted today, unlike the way it used to be in the traditional media, there are so many biases that we come from. The influence of mass media, local media, YouTube news channels cannot be ignored, especially among the younger generation. Newspapers are more for the masses, maybe in the smaller cities and other places. Social media is also become like a media. So much before the news comes in any of the the electronic channels, or it is flashed, unfortunately, without being verified on the social media, something that is it is so destructive that people are not able to understand whether what they are watching is right or it is just in a way a fancy to be forwarded or not. So using only eyes without mind or research can be so destructive. It is more relevant in the current times when people keep forwarding without verifying the sources, and underlying emotions get formed on the very baseless reasons. So what is happening is the traditional news media, where we would watch television to understand what's happening, or we would read the newspapers. Now anything and everything is on social media. There are so many local TV channels which are coming up, Madhavi, in terms of the YouTubes. And the other day, just about 4-5 days back, I was tagged on a video from Bengal, from some local TV channel from Bengal, and it was horrifying to see the video clips which were being put up there. And see, unfortunately, all this is happening in the current scenario. Scenario is not very good, but the fact of the matter is, what are we posting, and especially those horrifying pictures in the loop? Are we doing any good? Do we really know where are these pictures coming from? Are they being broadcasted to create a fear, or there is an underlying reason why it is being broadcasted? I mean, somebody in the local channel in Bengal, is tagging me, and so many others. So you can just imagine the media, the relevance of media, which people would understand ki हाँ ये अखबार में आया है, so it has to be true. Now I think that blur everything is a media now. Even if it is social media, it is not for networking anymore. I think that blur
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Vinita. And it's like overload of information and biases leading to more fear in the current scenario, undoubtedly. So that definitely is the negative point we can say of media. Like if we talk about the pros and cons of media, this is definitely a negative side of the media also. And Hilal Gupta is saying interesting topic and fantastic combination of expert panelists. Yes, we are really honored to have them all here with us today. And thank you for taking also your precious time, all of you. So I would like to ask now Poonam, how important is the media for a common man according to you?
Hi, first of all, hi everybody, all the listeners, all the viewers. Good to see you, and stay safe and take care of yourself. Coming back to your question, Madhvi, see, there are some professions which are very noble, like teaching, medical, and journalism is also one of them. And they are directly connected with the well-being of their viewers and readers and all. So in these kind of professions, like we all have grown up reading newspapers. First thing in the morning, our parents and grandparents, they used to open the paper, read it, and the newspaper was the only source, and of course TV channel also. They were the only sources of getting the information of the world to them, making their own opinions, and seeing what is happening in the world, in our country, in every nook and corner. So and like we Indians, and I think of course everybody else also, we have treated our media, we treat our media as a Bible or a Quran or a Granth, because we believe in this so much. Like when we go to a doctor, we treat them as our god, and we have that assurance. Okay, we are going to a doctor, we are
Safe
going to a
answer.
hospital, they're going to do their best to treat us. And likewise, these professions are so noble. And when we talk about media also, when we read a newspaper or maybe a website or any media, we whatever information is given there, we tend to think, okay, take it as that it's true. So
True.
for these kind of professions, it's very important. Media plays a very important role in our lives, because everything is dependent on this. So I think that is all I have to say. How important is media? It's a very, very important thing, and it's one of the noble professions. So I all we need to, like as Vinita Jairath or rightly mentioned, that so much of media is available, and the problem is that the kind of news they are putting it. It's very, very important that what they put should be right, because we all form our opinion according to what we see.
Absolutely.
Now what is happening is, with so much flood of unbiased, like biased news or wrong news and all, people are slowly getting away from media. They say,
That's
okay,
right.
yeah, why I don't want to watch khologe newspaper. There's so much of like negativity you get. Earlier, we used to open the paper, read, and feel so good about it. But now when somebody opens a paper or a website and all, there is so much of
I
negative,
think
so
your
much of biased news in it, or so much of over commercialization is this. So that
totally agree.
people are like, they're saying like, I don't want to open the newspaper first thing in the morning. So the importance of media needs to remain intact, and it is one of the
Improve the
noble
quality.
professions. So that is what I feel, how important is media to all of us. Thank you.
Great, wonderful. Well said, Poonam. And now I would like to come to Sharad for another question. Sharad, if you can tell about this topic that we have kept today, role, importance, influence, and impact of media. So anything, any of these things, if you could emphasize on, either the influence, impact, role, or effects of media.
Well, I think the importance, Madhavi, is unquestionable. I mean, whatever that we know about the world today, it's the window to the world. I mean, we look through the window and we come to know what's happening around the world. Imagine a world without media. I think the answer to your question comes by imagining a world without media. Let's suppose there was no media, there was no newspaper, there were no TV channels, there was no internet based, no social media. I mean, we go back probably 2 ages and we see what was happening. You could only know somebody what is happening through probably a simple letter being delivered. So I
That's
think
right.
media plays the roles of eyes and ears of the generation today. I mean, but the problem here is, as Poonam also rightly highlighted, that media has turned from news to opinions. So the duty of the media is to report. You're just supposed to report what happened. Okay, something happened, I'll tell you this happened. But the shift from news to opinion, when media starts giving opinion, I think that is when the bias comes. that is when people get influenced, because the media starts telling you this is right, this is wrong. When media plays the role of a moral police, this is correct, this is not correct, this political party is correct, this political party is not correct. I think that is where the problem starts. So long as media confines its role to that of a news provider. So there's a difference between a news provider. Today, I think there is hardly any media agency which is a simple news provider. You will always get an opinion. So they have an opinion. All anchors, all panelists, they have an opinion on something. It is the conflict of the opinion which confuses people. It is the conflict of the opinion, the bias in the opinion, which leads people away from the media. So, but there are certain section of people, who look for opinion. But now, because there are opinions and opinions coming, multiple opinions coming out of media, I think that tends to mislead people. Somebody saying something?
I think Vinita, do you want to say something?
I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry about the network. I think today it really wanted to play a spoil sport. I would just okay. So I did hear Dr. Marwa in the beginning, and also Sharad ji, and some of the opinions from our eminent panelists here. I will just take on from what Sharad ji was saying and actually define, what we discussed earlier backstage. What is the real role of media? And from there, we will be able to derive, in the sense, the right element as well. So, Madhvi, to my opinion, media's role can actually be categorized into 4 zones, if I may say that. And the first and foremost, again, I am one person who has worked across various media groups and media platforms, be it print, television, radio, digital. So, one has come to the conclusion that the media stands effective on these 4 pillars. And the first pillar being that it should only report the truth and the facts. So the truth and facts are the basic premise on which any news, especially so to say, I'm not getting into entertainment here right now, news is supposed to be based on, because it has far-reaching effects on the minds of the people without any distortion. The second pillar being that it should be any media platform or media house should actually be providing very insightful and deep-rooted analysis. So I think what Sharad ji was also saying, and earlier somebody in the panel also said, so only the experts focus group should be invited for such panels. It should not be any and everybody, because only whatever the experts present, basis that people form their perception, they form the opinion, and hence it is very important that those experts themselves have a lot of credibility, which will also lend the credibility to the platform, because when that credibility is not there and it is just any and everybody, then the far-reaching effects on the minds of the people are a lot. And thus it's like a quality control, if I may say, for that particular platform. Thus, we have to be very conscious of who we are inviting and what we are absorbing. Third pillar, I would say, is optimism. If we were to see in today's time also, leave alone, so many things that keep happening. So while the facts need to be presented and the experts need to present it, but the news is such that we should, the medium or the experts should have the means to present it in the most palpable manner, in optimism. So there we should see that, how is that a country of 1.3 billion people will be able to take this news positively without getting into fear or anxiety, and what are the learnings from various countries, or what are the learnings from how to get around this situation. And the fourth, I would say, the pillar is that any platform should actually be able to be the voice of the community. So typically what happens in case of mass media it tends to be, I'm going to use this word, and we are familiar with it, it tends to get polarized, and that is something that we least want, right? So a platform which is actually the voice of the community, it can actually portray the feelings of the people and the concerns of the people in the genuine manner, because currently only social media is only platform where people are left to voice their expression. And you did ask me that question earlier, that how can we bring in optimism? So that's the third point that I had raised. So basis these four principles of truth and facts, second being insightful perspective and deep analysis, third being positivity, and fourth being being a platform for all people, I would say on these four pillars we have to dwell upon the third pillar of optimism and positivity a lot, because anyways, if there is so much of fear, anxiety, depression around, then it becomes the responsibility of media platforms, not just social platforms, but mass media platforms and houses, that they just do not, and I'm going to use the word here, though I belong to the fraternity, that we do not use it for just the TRPs or the readership, but we actually use it to also bring in large sense of community in the people, that they are also capable of doing good. So once Sonu Sood's story has been highlighted, but he's a celebrity, so it has got highlighted, but what about so many unsung heroes that are there? So I'll pause here for a moment because other panelists have also come in, but I'd like to come back on this point more later. Thank you.
But wonderful suggestions, Vinita, and I hope that this voice is heard and your suggestions are also taken into consideration by whoever from the media is listening to us right now here, with such dynamic media personalities already here. And Ankit is here, so good to see you, Ankit. And I would like to introduce Ankit to everybody. Ankit is the director, Bang on Target PR and Media Solutions, and Groom to Bloom Grooming Academy, Groomer. Welcome, Ankit, on madhvisluxury.co on this panel discussion with the dignitaries. Hi.
Thank you so much. Hi, Madhvi. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me at this panel with all the esteemed other members here who are very well known to me.
Pleasure and honor. And now I would like to come to Sandeep ji. Sandeep ji, I would like to ask you the same thing, that what do you have to say about the influence, impact, effect of media?
See, let me first clear to all of you what is the role of media. In 1966, Press Council of India was created in India by Indian government, and Press Council of India set the ball rolling, the rules of the purpose of media, and that there were three major purposes: to provide information, to provide education, and to provide entertainment. This was the total purpose of the media at that time. But with the growth of media and the adoption of media by large masses, public, and media has now become actually a parallel line to every segment, every department, every ministry, whatever you can think of. There are additional role which media has to play now, and that I can add the persuasion. The persuasion is another very important part of media. Anything which is not happening must be happen, and you will find a lot of persuasion in the paper, and they'll keep on writing about the same thing again and again. Now that is the one very important role of the media today in today's world. Second, this is the fourth. Now the fifth, what I should add into is the surveillance. It is the job of the media to keep an eye. I don't say policing, but surveillance. It is the job of the media to keep an eye on something which is not correct for the society, for the people, for the country, and something wrong which is happening. So media can always intimate, add, subtract into that system. Then another very important role which I must add here is the interpretation, which is a part of the job of the media person, because somebody has something and it has been wrongly understood by another community, another group of people. So it is a job of the media to immediately correct the interpretation of those words those paras and those things, so that there should not be any chaos, misunderstanding, or sometimes these things can even lead to fights, and then to beyond that. And then another very important role of media is to provide linkage. I mean, when I write, and when it is read by one department of government, then the other department, which was not aware earlier of what is happening in the department A, comes to know only through media. Do you know that? It is happening. It's such a huge country. We are almost 1/6 of the world. And linkages government to government, from people to people, people to government, from industry to government, and so on. This is a wonderful job which media is playing right now. And last but not the least in the row is socialization. With coming up of a social media, I think it's a very important role of media now to create a beautiful national integration, a social integration, creating friends for each other. I mean, I don't have to talk about it because this has become a part and parcel of everyone's life today. And thanks to media, I must say. So this is how I have categorized the role of media. Yes, when you write, when you broadcast anything, it leaves a huge impact on the minds of people, because it is very well said that when you read, when you see, and when you hear, it touches your mind instantly. And that's what media has been doing it. I mean, obviously, the media has to be fair in its dealing, because the major job of the media is only to inform or project facts. But then there is definitely manipulation here and there, which I'm not here to talk about. But then, yes, it do impact, and media's impact is heavy. And trust me, this is only because of media that this country has been saved. Otherwise, the statistics, what WHO had given for India, they're not worth mentioning, because they said 25 crore people will go infected and 2.5 crore people will die in this country. Sorry to say that, but then it's only because of Indian media that we have persuaded all the 950 channels, whether they are entertainment or a news channel, or the 30,000 newspapers, or the 120 crore mobiles, they have propagated through social media, through print media, through electronic media, and persuaded people to be in their houses, use masks, whatever the conditions and applications which are required to be safe in this pandemic were delivered non-stop to the people of this country. And trust me, we are absolutely in a very, very safe condition today in this country, only because of media. That's one of the major example which I'm giving, how media can lead an impact on people. Obviously, media somewhere they've tried to make you feel afraid, only because if you're going to feel afraid, then you're going to obey what government has been pursuing through media. So I think this is one example, and then there are hundreds of examples. Time is a limit, so probably you can shift to the next question.
Wonderful.
Madhvi, I'll have something to ask.
Very well.
Madhvi, I'll just add something. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm just coming to you. So I was just telling Sandeep ji very positive thing about the media. There are pros and cons, definitely, but you are absolutely right that alert and educated, we become more about it because of the social media, and it's a lot under control, the crisis. And yeah, please go ahead. Somebody wants to speak.
Yeah, actually, Madhvi, what Sandeep ji said, I just wanted to, carry it a little forward. See, the importance of media, why we are all talking about is here is also for a very important reason, that media are not just the holders of power here, but they constitute by and large the space where power is decided. So that's another reason the importance and the role of media goes, way beyond what one can really see it in the influential corridors. What we are talking about, it is what is visible, but there is so much more which is not visible, which is, between the lines, and where the media really plays a very important role. And I think in today's scenarios where the elections have just gotten over, and there is so much in the current scenario, also the unprecedented scenario of pandemic. So we see the way the opinions are made, and somewhere down, it becomes a power sector as well.
Right, absolutely. Anybody else would like to add on to her, Vinita's, discussion or any pros and cons to the discussion that we are having? Ankit or Vinita Bhatia, Poonam, would you like to add on to this discussion?
Well,
Sorry, Ankit,
go
you
ahead, go
wanted
ahead.
to.
So I just wanted to add a few things because I was, of course, listening to the entire debate, and everybody had a very fair point about media's presence. And a lot of one of the panelists, of course, spoke about the authenticity as well and what the reach is, and how important is media in terms of the traditional and the we talk about the digital now. I just want to add one point is that I also feel media becomes very important for our rural areas also. People, the population who are not very educated, they aren't the ones who get an access to newspapers or probably can read them as well. So media plays a very important role there as well, I believe, because, like for example, I know people who are domestic help or other people who walk in, or even these villages. I think everybody they have a television, either it's in their house or there's a common place where they watch it. So there's a lot of important news that is able to reach out to them, which ideally I don't think they manage to do it with newspapers, physical papers. On the other hand, I of course that's about the news channel. That's what I meant. And papers, I still feel that there is a certain age group, like I say, probably my parents, like for example, they are still the ones who believe in that, that authentic, that paper in hand, and they want to read it. So I think digital media is very important. I'm just kind of putting in some points because I've been listening to all the esteemed panelists. So I'm just putting in a few points what I felt during the entire debate. So that's how I feel that yes, of course, digital and online media is important at this point of time. And as I think Sharadji mentioned, that there is a generation which is more inclined towards the digital, and there is a certain generation which still believes in the paper in hand and reading the hard copy of the paper. Also, one more point I want to add is that uh, one of the panelists had mentioned that very rightly said so that when these debates happen, it's very important to have the right people as representatives talking about a certain topic. That's very, very, very valid point. In fact, I would also want to add is that I think the debates should also be streamlined. They should be planned a little better because there are times when we watch our news channels, of course, without naming a particular channel. There are times when you literally can't hear a panelist or a person talking because they're shouting on each other. I think that needs to probably be streamlined. That needs to be probably be properly, organized. Rather having somebody shouting on the other one and somebody's volume being lowered, I think that's somewhere which can be little more streamlined. That's a few points that I wanted to make. I think that can be worked on in terms of the electronic channel, especially.
Great views and suggestions coming from all of you, and the audience is writing some comments which I cannot see. In case if anybody of you can see and take up the question or a query if they have any, that would be really nice. And they're saying that it's wonderful suggestions. I hope somebody is listening and they can take it up seriously, all these suggestions that are coming up from everyone. And I would like to ask you, Vinita Bhatia, are you there? I can't see her. Or Poonam, maybe you can answer the role of media for society and nation in today's situation and in future.
See, Madhvi, picking up from where I left, see, the role of how important is media to each one of us has been like all the panelists have already talked about, that it's, kind of lifeline of a nation. We, like Sharadji was saying, if there wouldn't have been any media, we would not know what is happening. So that's the best thing. Everybody's in the morning, we pick up the newspaper or we open up our social media just to know what's happening. The first thing what we do, wake up in the morning, I pick up my mobile and see, okay, what's the latest news. Everybody else is doing this, either with the newspaper or with the mobile or anything. So now coming back to your question, that what is the role media needs to play. So all I need to say is media needs to be very unbiased, and I see a lot of competition and a lot of commercialization in the media, which is, I think, one of the cause that they forced to write things which are not in the best interest of a particular community or a particular section of the society. But all we want media is to remain unbiased, and this is like one of the noble profession, as I earlier mentioned also. So we look up to media. There's no harm in being commercial or in being competitive, but over excess of anything and everything is banned. So what is happening right now in the media is, and excess of this commercialization, competitiveness, and of course influences, then if you look at from the media point of view, they are also right. Being a democratic country, even the media also wants freedom to write what they have have seen based on the facts. They are there to report the event as it is. They should not be forced to twist it for the interest of a particular section of society or not. Freedom has to be given to media, but at the same time, when you are given a responsibility, you are accountable for it. You are you're supposed to take that responsibility and do justice to it. So that is what media needs to draw a line how the conduct should be. So I think that is what needs to be done, because without media we just can't think of surviving, or we can't think of getting any information. So they are the best source, and they are like for everybody's survival, you could say, or they are there and they need to be there. But then yes, of
Great.
course, they're authentic. Then slowly and gradually they leave the kind of trust they have that goes. And the branding, like I'm a branding consultant, so I know. See, if a consultant can only hype the brand to a certain extent, but if there is no meat in the client, if there is no honesty and sanctity, then no kind of no amount of PR can make a brand succeed, because public is not, we are not fools here. We can just if there is a fact, we could just add little glamour to it and present it. But of course we can't state something which is incorrect and all. At the end of the day, we are all educated, we all know the facts, and there are so much information available. So that's it. So if you want to survive, you have to have your ethics in place. You have to do what is, and why I started my magazine in this pandemic, because I saw a lot of negativity, a lot of fear everywhere. So I thought, why not try and spread as much positivity as we can. Because what happens is, when we keep reading or hearing negative things, then it affects our mind, and they say that whatever we see, we hear, it comes true. So why not hear and see and talk positive? Why not
Absolutely.
look at an optimistic picture? So that's why I thought there is so much good which is happening, so much good we need to talk about, we need to see and get encouraged, inspired, and do good. Like you've seen every second person out on the street helping another. They're all strangers, they don't know anybody's religion, caste, status. They're just help is just pouring in. So this is what India is all about. This is what our culture is all about. So let's be very positive. Let's not talk so much about negativity. Let's not, have a sensational news to be on the top of the, these
I completely
ratings and
agree.
all.
And
Let's not about so
the
much
initiative
competition.
that
Let's
you're
think
taking,
about what is the right, what is going to be. Yeah,
yeah, great initiative, I must say, that
Madhvi
you're
couldn't hear
taking.
you.
So Madhvi, I'd just
Yes.
like to step in here,
Thank you.
continuing from what
Yeah, please.
Continuing from what Poonam is saying, and what all the other eminent panelists have said. So there is no question about that, whether it is a print or a television or the future mediums, the current mediums of digital, they're all relevant and they will remain relevant, though the percentage of that might change from time to time. The point that I want to make, what Poonam was also dwelling on, and Ankit also made a mention of it. So when the media platforms, we are taking it as a premise that they're supposed to report only the truth, the facts, and to be done by the experts. But when the media platforms or media houses go beyond that into competition, and that you lose the dignity of how you are talking to people, and not only that, but infringing into the personal lives, I would say that is one thing that current media needs to kind of control upon. Why, even when we are talking to an eminent panelist, then how we can, of course, disagree, but you can still be very respectful towards the other person and not have the shouting that exists on many platforms. That will happen when intrinsically we as human beings, or as panelists, or whoever experts we are, we intrinsically respect and value the dignity of another person. Two, as far as the third point is concerned, which I raised earlier, that media also has the responsibility of optimism. I'm saying just unnecessary generate positive news. Even in dire circumstances like these, what the country is facing, while the facts are being presented, but in a large country of 1.3 billion people, in which more than 50% of the population in few years is going to have an average age of less than 29 years, those are very impressionable minds. So it is also important that how this disturbing news and facts are going to be presented in an optimistic manner. So what is palpable to people? So to create that news in an optimistic manner, present it in an optimistic manner, find out what are the ways and means by which whether other countries have succeeded. I'm not getting into the comparison of whether we are a country of 1.3 billion and somebody is small, what they've done. Every country has their own problems. But I am emphasizing on the point of creating those human stories and optimistic stories more, because we will get out of one pandemic. But on the other hand, we will be creating one more pandemic, because there is so much of fear and anxiety that is being created. If whole day we are going to consume negative news, incidentally, it is available 24/7 currently. So it is up to us that how we maintain it is, in fact, three parties are responsible for it. We are discussing the role of media. So media is foremost responsible that how do they present their news, which can be palpable to 1.3 billion population with a mass media. Two, it is also then dependent on each one of us. As Poonam was mentioning, there are so many unsung heroes. Why not take those stories to mass media? Why keep them limited to just social media? Because when you create an atmosphere of positivity, then even when you feel that, hey, I may not be capable of doing something, even if I don't have the means, but even if you get up and help one more person, I think you are worth your life, even if you may not have too much of means to support anyone. And third, I would say, in creating optimism, media again can play a very important role when there are the voice of the people, not just, we are at the end of the day a very emotional nation also. So give them a platform to voice their true concerns, but at the same time, also show if there are, you know that there are so many healing groups, there are so many prayers that are going on. So instead of only holding certain bodies and certain governments and people and organizations accountable for it, we as a people also, as mass consciousness, take accountability and bring everybody together to raise a hand in prayer and help, rather than in just pointing figures. So I would say it's a collective responsibility.
One minute before we close. I have two lines to speak. One, that I must pay my homage to all the journalists who have lost their life on duty during this pandemic. They've been real warriors, I must say that. And my gratitude to all the journalists who have been working right now day in, day out to give you best of the information possible, sitting back home through any of the mediums of the media. It's very important. And see, media houses may be a business house. It may be a business, but for a journalist, it's a passion. You have to keep that in mind. And they've been working sincerely, honestly, very hard working, especially in conditions like what are prevailing right now. So we have to have a lot of regards and respect for them too. As far as money part is concerned, it has to be kept in mind, because otherwise, if you, I mean, you're running a magazine, you know it for sure that if you're not going to cover ABC and if you're not going to charge money for his advertisement, how are you going to print the magazine next month? So I think there is a variation in broadcasting, in projecting, in writing, in actually expressing for any media houses, because they are somewhere down the line handicapped. They need money, and they do change sometimes their presentation because of money. So this is understood, but that is only 10%, mind you. 90%, I think 90%, they're fair, they're good, they're up to the mark, and they try. They may be on one side, it looks like they are on the one side, but they are somehow projecting that part of the society. We have to give them that credit also. Very important. I mean, there's a lot to be discussed actually, and there's a lot to be which I would love to say. But then, because I have to leave now, so I just beg you, thank you very much for inviting me. I would love to see you again.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful discussion and a debate on such a lovely topic. And I'm sure there's a lot of food for thought among the audience today. There's already a discussion going on among some people on the chat that I can see, but I cannot read all the comments. So maybe later on we can reply. So thank you everyone for being here. It's been a real pleasure and honor hosting all of you. And it's been a great, great discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhvi, for having us.
Thank you, Madhvi, for having us for this important discussion. Thank you, all the viewers.
Stay safe, all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Best wishes to everyone. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.